In the distant parallel world number 1713, we find our hero, Wu Zhi, looking dashing in full armor atop a mighty steed. He's leading his troops with a banner that probably says something cool. Tagging along is Guirome, the pharmacist's daughter, because every hero needs a potential side quest. The scene pans out to reveal the sprawling Ximen prefecture, the southern capital of the Liao dynasty. An eagle soars majestically overhead, probably thinking about all the tasty, unsuspecting rodents in the city below. But wait, a record scratch reveals our hero's inner monologue. Turns out, this ancient general has the soul of a modern man, thinking, hey, isn't this basically Beijing from 900 years ago? The first sign that this isn't your average historical drama. We're then whisked away to the present day, outside Jiangpu Medical University. Here we meet the modern Wu Zhi, a young man in a soccer jersey, standing before the university gates with the setting sun at his back. He looks hopeful, which is almost always a bad sign. He proudly holds up a glittering gold trophy, a symbol of his hard-won victory, ready to present it to the girl of his dreams. With all the courage he can muster, the diminutive Wu Zhi presents the trophy to his towering crush, Xiaoyu. He reminds her, "You said if I won the championship, you'd date me, ah, young, naive love." And here comes the crushing blow. Xiaoyu, with the emotional warmth of a glacier, shatters his heart into a million pieces. "Sorry, Wu Zhi," she says, "I actually like Ximen from the basketball team." As if on cue, the rival appears. A tall, smug-looking basketball player named Ximen drapes his arm around Xiaoyu, mocking our vertically challenged hero and calling him a shorty who dares to covet his woman. Ximen twists the knife, revealing that he was the one who told Xiaoyu to make the promise. Just because he enjoys watching short guys act like monkeys, the cruelty is off the charts. Wu Zhi's face is a mask of pure, unadulterated shock and humiliation. You can practically hear the sound of his world crashing down around him. His knuckles turn white as he grips the trophy, the once proud symbol of his achievement now just a reminder of his utter humiliation. Ximen, ever the gentleman, warns Wu Zhi not to come near him, boasting that he's worth tens of millions and Wu Zhi couldn't possibly afford the compensation for even a scratch. With a final, dismissive wave, Ximen basically tells Wu Zhi to get lost. Wu Zhi can only walk away, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Even the bystanders are gossiping. They recognize Wu Zhi as a top student from the acupuncture department, but they just can't get over how short he is, comparing him to a middle schooler. As if on cue to amplify the drama, the sky opens up and it begins to pour, because what's a good public humiliation without a pathetic walk in the rain? Trudging through the rain-soaked streets, trophy in hand, the reality of the situation finally hits Wu Zhi. Damn it, so Wu Yu had been playing with me this whole time. His eyes snap open, the earlier shock and sadness now replaced by a burning, furious glare. He's been played for a fool, and he is not happy about it. And then, in the most classic of all transmigration tropes, a wild truck appears, headlights blazing. It barrels down on our distracted and emotionally distraught protagonist. His life flashes before his eyes in shattered fragments. With his last breath, he screams into the void, "I can't die like this, I'm not willing," a perfect setup for a second chance. A swirling vortex of blue light engulfs him. The universe's customer service department has received his complaint and is now processing his transfer. A system notification pops up, plain as day. Body exchange complete. Wu Zhi's soul has been successfully installed into the body of Wu Dalang in the water margin world, with his original appearance conveniently overriding the new one. It's the iSky starter pack. Wu Zhi's vision slowly fades in, and the first thing he sees is, well, an impressive mountain range. A gentle, feminine voice calls out his new name, Dalang. His eyes focus and he's greeted by the sight of a stunningly beautiful woman in ancient attire. This is Jinlian, and she's very relieved that her Dalang is finally awake. She gently places a bowl of dark, mysterious liquid, probably medicine, on the table. Her expression is one of gentle concern, ready to nurse him back to health. Leaning in, she tells him he's been unconscious for 3 days, starving himself thin. As this is happening, a system window only he can see announces, "Replacing appearance memory is in progress." Wu Zhi's brain short-circuits, his eyes bugging out in utter confusion at the gorgeous woman calling him her husband. Jinlian looks at the now thinner Wu Zhi, a slight blush on her cheeks. A thought crosses her mind. He actually looks a little handsome now. Perhaps this arranged marriage isn't a total loss after all? Leaning over him, her concern evident, Jinlian asks if he feels any discomfort. Wu Zhi, however, is probably more focused on the advantageous angle of her posture. Meanwhile, Wu Zhi's brain is still buffering. He thinks he's died and gone to a premium hospital with a top-tier cosplay service, and he has to admit, this particular nurse is an absolute 10 out of 10. Still blissfully unaware of his new reality, he decides to shoot his shot. "Miss Nurse, what's your name?" he asks with a blush, trying to lay on the charm. Jinlian is confused. "Miss Nurse," she repeats, before dropping the bombshell that will shatter his worldview. "Dalang, it's me, Jinlian." The names echo in his head. Dalang? Jinlian? The realization hits him like a second truck. He's traveled into the world of the classic novel Water Margin and become the infamously famous, notoriously cuckolded Wu Dalang. His eyes dart around in panic, taking in the evidence, the ancient-style house, the antique furniture, the historical clothes on his own body, and the legendary beauty Jinlian herself. There's no denying it, he's been ice-guyed. Knowing the tragic fate that awaits Wu Dalang, he immediately starts searching for his lifeline, his one hope for survival in this cruel new world. "System Daddy, where are you?" he cries out internally. But before he can find his system, Jinlian returns with a bowl of dark, ominous-looking medicine. "Dalang, it's time to drink your medicine," she says sweetly, but to Wu Zhi, it sounds like the Grim Reaper's doorbell. Absolute terror grips him. This is it. The infamous poisoning scene. His brain flashes a giant game over screen. He can't believe he's facing a death flag the moment he arrives. His mind flashes back to the illustrations from the book, where the wicked Pan Jinlian forces the deadly poison down her husband's throat. He shakes his head violently, refusing to accept this fate. Acting on pure survival instinct, he smacks the bowl from her hands, his voice filled with terror as he screams, "You vicious woman!" The bowl crashes to the floor, shattering into a dozen pieces and spilling the dark liquid everywhere, a dramatic, but perhaps necessary, overreaction. Jinlian is stunned into silence, her beautiful eyes welling up with tears. His accusation has cut her deep. The tears finally fall as she explains the real story through her sobs. They had just moved to Yanggu County when local thugs beat him up for refusing to pay a protection fee. She stayed by his side for 3 days and nights, and this is the thanks she gets. Wu Zhi's brain starts working again. He analyzes the new information. Yanggu County? According to the original storyline, Pan Jinlian shouldn't have met that adulteress Ximen Qing yet. A wave of relief washes over him. No Ximen Qing means no motive for poisoning. He's successfully avoided the initial death flag. Phew, that was a close one. Without another word, Jinlian quietly grabs a broom and starts sweeping up the broken pieces of the bowl he so dramatically smashed. Watching her silently clean up the mess, Wu Zhi finds himself at a crossroads. Should he run away and try to escape his fate, or should he stay and try to change the storyline? A tough choice for any new transmigrator. He watches her graceful form and makes his decision. Running away isn't his style, and more importantly, he'll be damned if he lets a beauty like her fall into another man's hands. The protagonist's resolve has been ignited. A new fire burns within him. He declares that the best defense is a good offense, and dives into his imagination to formulate a game plan. He envisions himself back on the soccer pitch, facing down another famous beauty from the novel, Pang Chunmei, who appears as a rival player. This is his new battlefield. He winds up, ready to unleash a powerful kick, channeling all his determination into a single, decisive strike. The soccer ball erupts in a torrent of flames, symbolizing the fiery passion and offensive strategy he's decided to adopt in this new life. He imagines his unstoppable shot blasting past another famous beauty from the novel, Li Ping'er, who is humorously depicted as a rival goalie. This is how he'll face his destiny, not by running, but by scoring. His fantasy soccer montage concludes with a heroic pose and a bold declaration, "I'll win them all." Of course, reality brings him back down to earth as a small, injured chibi version of himself, looking slightly less heroic. Just as he's basking in his newfound resolve, a sudden, piercing scream from outside snaps him out of it. What now? He rushes out to find Jinlian, who has collapsed to the ground, crying out in pain. The drama never stops in this household. He hurries to her side, asking what's wrong. Through her pain breaths, she explains that it's her monthly cycle, and her stomach is hurting terribly. As he helps her up, Jinlian looks at him with confusion. He feels different, yet somehow the same. This is the system replacing effect at work, subtly making her more receptive to the new soul in her husband's body. And then, with a glorious sting, the moment he's been waiting for arrives. A holographic screen appears. Transmigrator, your system daddy has arrived. This system is the beauty affection growth system. Finally, the cheat code is here. The system lays out the ground rules. For every 10 points of affection he gains from a beauty, he gets a stat point, and if he hits 100% affection, she becomes unwaveringly loyal and unlocks special abilities. It's a harem protagonist's dream come true. But the dream quickly turns into a nightmare. The system issues its main mission. Within 1 week, he must complete dual cultivation with Pan Jinlian and raise her affection to 100%. Success grants a super physique, but failure means his soul gets completely annihilated. Wu Zhi's soul practically leaps out of his body. 100% affection and dual cultivation in 1 week? He's never even held a girl's hand, and now he has to seduce one of history's most infamous beauties or face permanent deletion. The system offers no sympathy. Shut up, it commands. If even after reincarnation you remain useless, you have no right to exist. This system plays for keeps. The terrifying reality sets in. He won't even get to reincarnate again. This is his one and only shot. The pressure is immense, bringing him to tears. Perhaps taking pity on the crying man-child, the system offers a lifeline. Considering he's been single since birth, it's issuing a newbie guidance mission. Relieve Pan Jinlian's menstrual pain. The reward is a new skill and unlocking the stat panel. The time limit? 5 minutes. Another timed mission. This system really knows how to pile on the pressure. The sweat drops are back. He quickly does the math. The penalty for failure is losing 60 centimeters in height. Since he's only 150 centimeters tall right now, that would literally make him a dwarf. Failure is not an option. Putting on a brave face, Wu Zhi becomes a pillar of confidence. My dear wife, he says smoothly, I have a way to help you relieve your pain. You should lie down on the bed first. Jinlian, looking both vulnerable and alluring as she lies on the bed, asks doubtfully, Dalang, do you really have a way to stop the pain? Of course, he says with a newfound charisma, his hands glowing with a faint blue aura. He declares that as a top student from a prestigious medical university, massage and acupuncture are his specialties. He rubs his hands together, warming them up and charging them with his mysterious blue energy. It's time to put his medical knowledge to the test. He begins a clockwise massage on her Qihai acupoint, followed by pressure on the Guan Yuan point. It's a textbook technique to warm the yang energy, dispel cold, and relieve pain, amplified by his system's power. His hands, glowing with a mystical light, press gently but firmly onto her lower abdomen, channeling warmth and healing energy directly to the source of her pain. The effect is immediate. Jinlian lets out a soft moan of relief, a clear sign that the treatment is working far better than she could have ever expected. Dalang, my stomach doesn't hurt as much now, she says, looking up at him with wide, surprised eyes. I didn't expect you to have such skill. Her internal monologue reveals a seismic shift in her perception. She'd always felt unlucky, but now she sees that Dalang has a gentle side. A footnote helpfully informs us that in this story, Pan Jinlian is a virgin, making her budding feelings even more significant. As she blushes, she thinks to herself that maybe, just maybe, after a little more time, she could truly come to accept Dalang as her husband. The seeds of affection have been planted. But Wu Zhi isn't done yet. With a confident grin, he announces, it's not over yet, watch my special move. He's ready to double down and win even more of his wife's affection. His special move begins. He continues the massage, but this time, the blue energy flowing from his hands seems to have a different intensity. A brilliant flash of light erupts from within her, a cosmic explosion of pure healing energy that signifies the treatment is reaching its climax. Jinlian lets out a cry that sounds less like pain and more like pleasure. Pink hearts float all around her. This is clearly more than just a simple stomach ache cure. A flustered Wu Zhi asks if the pain has returned, but Jinlian, blushing furiously, explains that it's not pain, it's a strange, itchy, yet comfortable feeling she can't describe. Her body trembles as her inner thoughts run wild. Suddenly I want it, but I can't possibly say that out loud, and I'm still on my period. The poor girl is a whirlwind of confusion and budding desire. The system, ever the helpful taskmaster, flashes a reminder. 4 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. He's making progress, but he's not done yet. Seeing the timer, Wu Zhi's expression becomes deadly serious. With so little time left, he has no choice but to go all out. The sensations become too much for Ximen Dalang. Stop pressing, she begs. I can't hold it in anymore. But Wu Zhi is in the zone. He refuses to believe that a terabyte of theoretical knowledge plus 5 years of medical training can't cure her. He unleashes a massive surge of golden energy. A powerful current of lightning arcs through her body as the treatment reaches its absolute peak, targeting the very root of her ailment. The energy culminates in a massive, fiery explosion, symbolizing the complete and utter obliteration of the cold stagnation in her system. In a display of extreme medical dedication, Wu Zhi tastes the essence expelled from her body to make a diagnosis. He grimly notes that while the legendary Shenong tasted herbs, he, Wu Zhi, tastes blood, whatever it takes to win. Success. The system congratulates him for mastering the flower-twirling finger, one of Wu Zhi's 48 techniques. The effectiveness of his massage-based treatments is now increased tenfold. He looks at his hand, which now sparkles with power. He can't believe he actually mastered a legendary-sounding skill. The power is intoxicating. A fiery aura of pure confidence erupts around him. With a system like this, who needs to fear Ximen Qing? He laughs. His ambitions soar as he now dreams of changing the fate of Princess Zhao Fujin and becoming a royal son-in-law. Later, Wu Zhi lies back on his bed, hands behind his head, coolly examining the floating golden panel that has appeared before him. The stat panel has officially opened. It displays his core attributes: strength, intelligence, charm, physique, and luck, along with the 10 shiny new stat points he has available to spend. A thought bubble reminds him that he gained these 10 points for successfully treating Ximen. The panel also helpfully explains the stat progression from beginner all the way to the godlike saintly rank. He's faced with the classic RPG dilemma. Should he boost strength to avoid getting beaten up again? Or should he invest in charm to help him complete the near-impossible mission with his new wife? Just as he's agonizing over his decision, a suspicious sound from outside catches his attention. Being the cautious and nosy protagonist that he is, he creeps over to the wooden wall and spits on his fingers to poke a peephole through the paper screen. His eye widens in pure shock. He was not expecting to see this. A close-up on his pupil reveals a perfect, diamond-like glint, reflecting the breathtaking scene before him. The source of the noise is revealed. Ximen is taking a bath, pouring a ladle of water over her shoulders amidst clouds of steam. The camera lingers on the water cascading down her flawless skin. It's a classic fan service moment, and our hero has stumbled into a front row seat. Our hero is completely mesmerized by the sight. Ximen, in all her steamy glory, turns her head, her golden eyes seeming to look right at him. She stretches gracefully, completely unaware that she has a peeping Tom, or is she? Sensing a gaze upon her, Ximen hurls a ladle full of water with surprising accuracy, scoring a direct hit on Wu Zhi's peeping eye. She looks toward the door with an annoyed, yet slightly flustered expression. The show is over, buddy. Feeling a bit guilty, and realizing his wife must be hungry after her bath, Wu Zhi decides to make amends. He offers to cook her some egg-fried rice, admitting to himself it's the only dish in his repertoire. His kind gesture triggers a new mission. The system wants him to conquer Ximen's taste buds. The reward? 10 stat points and an upgrade to his dual cultivation equipment. The penalty for failure? A full year of shrinkage. The stakes have never been so personal. With the threat of shrinkage looming over his head, Wu Zhi wastes no time and gets straight to work in the kitchen. He decides to go all in, pumping all 10 of his hard-earned stat points into intelligence. Instantly, his culinary skills level up from beginner to skilled. A chibi Wu Zhi, now a skilled chef, confidently presents the recipe for his golden egg fried rice, complete with a chalkboard listing all the ingredients. The cooking montage begins. He cracks the eggs with a newfound expertise, the first step towards culinary victory. With the grace of a seasoned chef, he pours the egg mixture into the hot wok, then adds the rice. His movements are swift and precise. He shows off his leveled-up skills with an impressive toss of the wok, sending a perfect wave of golden fried rice flying through the air. And voila, the masterpiece is complete. A proud chibi Wu Zhi presents his golden egg fried rice, a dish that literally sparkles with deliciousness. Just then, Jinlian emerges, fully dressed and looking radiant. Wu Zhi can't help but admire her, thinking she's no less stunning than a goddess. Dalang, this fried rice smells so good, she says. He proudly gestures to the steaming bowl, inviting his dear wife to taste the fruits of his labor. She marvels at the dish, noting that it's shining like gold. He explains his secret technique, coating every single grain of rice with egg yolk. She takes a tentative bite, her cheeks puffing out as she savors the flavor. Wu Zhi watches anxiously for her reaction. But instead of praise, her eyes fill with tears. She tells him they're not wealthy, yet he wasted precious eggs on her instead of eating them himself to recover from his illness. Her heart is touched by his selfless act. Her kindness hits him hard. This wonderful woman is nothing like the villain from the stories. He realizes she was led astray, and he places the blame squarely on the damned Wangpa, vowing to never forgive her. He has a brief, vengeful flash-forward, imagining the historical punishment of the matchmaker Wangpa, who was sentenced to ride the painful wooden donkey for her role in the original story's tragedy. He vows to make it happen. He gently takes her hand, reassuring her, "My wife, after you took care of me day and night, making fried rice is the least I can do." Then he adds a confident promise, "We will definitely become wealthy soon." She panics slightly, begging her husband not to do anything immoral just to get rich. All she wants is a peaceful life. He quickly reassures her that he will only make money through honest means. He knows the truth, though. As a modern man with a system, making money is easy. The real challenge is going to be keeping it. His confident and caring demeanor has completely won her over. She used to think he was timid and cowardly, but after his recovery, he's become so manly and bold. She muses that maybe, just maybe, she really chose the right husband. With a bright, cheerful expression, she gives him an enthusiastic double thumbs up. "I believe in you, Dalang. Our life will only get better and more prosperous." Her affection level is clearly skyrocketing. Taking charge of the situation, Wu Zhi gently guides his wife to the table. "Wife, sit down," he says, ready to present his culinary masterpiece. He then takes it a step further, deciding to feed her himself. With a charming smile, he holds up a spoonful of the golden rice and says, "Wife, open your mouth." She shyly obliges, her lips parting to accept the spoonful of rice he offers. It's an intimate moment, far beyond anything they've shared before. She chews thoughtfully, savoring the flavor of the simple yet perfectly cooked dish. And then it hits her. Her eyes fly open, sparkling with disbelief. This is no ordinary fried rice. She's thrown into a full-blown foodgasm, floating in an ethereal pink void. "What kind of divine rice is this?" she exclaims, her body tingling with delight. Her internal monologue goes into overdrive, describing how the egg yolk melted on her tongue and the rice burst with the warmth of the sun, allowing her to feel the very light of life. She feels an incredible warmth spread through her body as little animated rice grains dance joyfully around her. It's a truly transcendent experience. And with that, the system chimes in. "Congratulations, host, you have completed the random mission Conquer Pangilian's taste buds. The reward is 10 more stat points and, most importantly, the promised growth for his dual cultivation equipment. Mission successful." Overcome with emotion, Jinlian throws her arms around him. "Thanks, husband, it was truly delicious." As she hugs him tightly, another notification pops up. Her affection has increased by 20%, granting him 2 bonus stat points. He now has 12 points ready to be allocated. But our hero is having trouble focusing on stat points right now, with his beautiful wife pressing against him so intimately. His face flushes red as he thinks, "If you hug me like this, I won't be able to hold myself back." A classic cliffhanger to end a successful day. Our transmigrated hero, Wu Dalang, decides it's time to make his move. Sporting a blush that could give a tomato a run for its money, he leans into his absolutely stunning wife, feigning a sudden, terrible illness, my wife, he sputters. My body feels really hot and a bit uncomfortable. A truly classic opening line, if there ever was one. Penjinlian, a woman so beautiful she seems to have walked straight out of a painting, looks down with what appears to be genuine concern. Dalang, are you sick again? She asks, her golden eyes wide with worry. Oh, you sweet, innocent soul, if only you knew the kind of sickness this shameless man is suffering from. Not exactly, Dalang replies, a blissful, almost goofy smile spreading across his face as if he just won the lottery. He shamelessly explains that her hug was so powerful it made all the blood in his body surge straight to his head. Sir, Dalang, your head, we'll go with that for now. But let's be real, in the privacy of his own mind, our hero is singing a much more honest tune. A tiny, chibi version of him is practically drooling while appreciating the magnificent view. Good heavens, he thinks, after seeing a figure like yours, how could anyone's blood not surge? Can't argue with that logic. And just like that, the blood surge becomes a full-blown eruption, a majestic nosebleed, the universal sign of a man of culture, bursts forth in a comical torrent. Penjinlian, bless her heart, panics. Oh my goodness, Dalang, you're bleeding a lot. Don't worry, my lady, it's just a sign of his extreme artistic appreciation. Recovering with impressive speed, Dalang looks at his wife with the most earnest puppy dog eyes he can muster. Don't worry, wife, this illness, it's because of you. Penjinlian is, understandably, completely baffled. Because of me? She echoes, the confusion clear on her beautiful face. That's right, Dalang declares, doubling down on his ridiculous claim. And only you can treat me. The bait has been perfectly laid. Penjinlian, ever the devoted and concerned wife, leans in, her expression a mix of worry and curiosity. Then what should I do? She asks, walking right into his trap. And here's where our modern man hits a historical snag. How do I explain that? He thinks, frantically searching for an ancient era-appropriate metaphor. There shouldn't be rockets in this era yet, so how do I explain the concept of liftoff? Meanwhile, Penjinlian is getting impatient, urging him to hurry up and tell her the cure. Seeing his hesitation, Penjinlian's heart fills with worry. She passionately declares that he, Wu Dalang, is the backbone of their family. She reminds herself that she didn't want to be a concubine and chose this life. If anything happens to you, Dalang, then I'll also die, she vows. Well, that certainly escalated things. Now he has to get his treatment. The scene flashes back, showing exactly what she meant. A younger Penjinlian fiercely defies her former master's order to become a concubine. Even if I have to marry that ugly, short Wu Dalang, she declares, I still won't be anyone's concubine. An info box helpfully explains that her vengeful master then forced her to marry Dalang as punishment. So, she chose her fate, and she's sticking to it. Back in the present, Penjinlian's eyes are burning with a fiery resolve. Dalang, just tell me, she says, her voice leaving absolutely no room for argument. No matter what it is, I will do it. She is ready to move mountains for him, completely unaware that he just wants, well, a massage. The moment of truth has arrived, and our hero chokes. He starts sweating bullets, stammering like a broken record. It's just that, come on, man, spit it out. The anticipation is almost as painful as his fake illness. And then, with the comically flushed and panicked face of a man asking for the impossible, he finally blurts it out. Could you help me with an intimate massage? The sheer, unadulterated awkwardness of the moment is a masterpiece in itself. A gasp, a blush, Penjinlian's cheeks turn a delightful shade of crimson that would make a rose jealous. But wait, she's not angry, she's not storming out, she looks shy? Flustered but intrigued. This is definitely not the reaction he was bracing himself for. Seeing his opening, Dalang launches into a dramatic performance worthy of an award. He grabs her hand, pleading his case with the fervor of a dying poet. He's just a simple, hot-blooded man, forced to live beside a heavenly beauty like her. The heat in his blood will surely be the end of him. Oh, the tragedy. And it works, like a charm, Penjinlian, blushing furiously, shyly admits. But I've never done anything like this before. Triumphant chibi Dalang gives a cheeky wave and a thumbs up. The system approves. Victory is sweet. Without another word, Wu Dalang takes the lead, pulling a very smug-looking Penjinlian by the hand, the destination for this highly anticipated treatment. The kitchen, of all places. Well, this is an unexpected plot twist. And so, in the middle of the kitchen, Wu Zhi's massage lesson begins. The primary teaching tool for this ancient, intimate art form? A cucumber, a very large, very green cucumber. With his back to the audience for plausible deniability, Wu Dalang begins his very serious instructions. You need to do it like this first, then this. And you can also use your mouth. The sheer audacity of this man knows no bounds. He's teaching her how to prepare vegetables, obviously. Pan Jinlian, bless her innocent soul, turns out to be a prodigy. Blushing but determined, she declares, I've more or less learned it, Dalang. Let's go to the bedroom and begin the treatment. She is all in, ready to apply her newfound culinary skills. As his gorgeous wife obediently walks ahead towards the bedroom, Wu Dalang gives his trusty wingman, the cucumber, a jaunty toss over his shoulder. Its noble duty is done, it's time for the main event. As she walks away, our hero can't help but take a moment to admire the breathtaking view from behind. That figure is absolutely amazing, a man of refined tastes, clearly. But then, a moment of seriousness cuts through the comedy. While munching on the cucumber of victory, Wu Dalang's face hardens. He remembers the brutal rules of this world. Women devote themselves to the man who takes their first time. I must win over Pan Jinlian before Ximen Qing appears, he vows. If he gets to her first, then I'll definitely die. The plot thickens. The scene shifts to the bedroom. Wu Dalang is seated, looking surprisingly innocent and ready for his treatment. Wife, please start the massage, he says politely, setting the stage for the grand finale of his scheme. Pan Jinlian leans over him, ready to apply the skills she just learned, but as she gets closer, her eyes go wide with pure, unadulterated shock. Her eyes are wide as she stares at the proof that the original Wu Dalang's reputation was greatly exaggerated. She bites her finger, a gesture of pure, flustered disbelief. Her mind is clearly struggling to process the unexpected scale of the situation. The little sound effect just adds to her adorable confusion. Wu Dalang, on the other hand, is the picture of calm and collected confidence. Seeing her reaction, he gives her a gentle, encouraging smile. Wife, you can start now. He's acting as if this is the most normal Tuesday evening activity in the history of the world. Pan Jinlian finally musters a reply, stammering, okay, but her inner monologue is screaming, I was so engrossed in looking at it just now, it's so big, is this really my Dalang's sword? Oh, you sweet, innocent woman, yes, that's his sword. Ding, the glorious sound of the system window, for dazzling his wife with his sword. Wu Dalang gets a 10% affection boost and 1 stat point. But wait, there's more. Her total affection hits 30, unlocking a first-round gift of 10 bonus stat points. His shamelessness is literally paying dividends. He now has 23 points to play with. And so, the intimate massage begins. Pan Jinlian, still blushing, gets into position and dutifully asks for feedback. Dalang, tell me if I'm doing it incorrectly. Dalang, ever the patient teacher, simply replies, okay, while undoubtedly enjoying the 5-star view. As she begins, she asks with pure innocence, Dalang, will this massage treat your sickness? Our hero, lying back like a king, gives a perfectly vague and tantalizing reply, it can ease it for now. He's already setting the stage for part 2. And here comes the masterful upsell. But if I want to be completely treated, he continues, looking up at her with his most soulful eyes, you still need to. He lets the sentence hang in the air, allowing her imagination to do all the heavy lifting. This man is a marketing genius. The scene intensifies with a close-up of their hands. Her delicate fingers with their sharp, pink nails are gently guided by his own. The atmosphere is getting heated. The massage continues under Dalang's expert tutelage. The visual effects get more sparkly and suggestive as her hand moves with more confidence. This is some advanced healing technique, for sure. Wu Dalang's face is a mask of pure, unadulterated effort. He's blushing up a storm, his teeth gritted in concentration. This healing process is clearly very strenuous for the patient. And then, the grand finale. Wu Dalang grabs the back of her head, his eyes squeezed shut, and triumphantly bellows, a completely normal and not at all misleading thing to shout during a therapeutic, non-contact massage. This segment simply had to go, no ifs, no buts, it couldn't stay. Pan Jinlian like a freight train. Her eyes go wide with a level of shock that surpasses even her previous sword discovery. Mortified and utterly confused, she scrambles away, presumably to go wash her face and question all her life choices. As for Wu Dalang, well, he was deep in thought about his future plans, muttering to himself, "Strike fast and win quick, or some other guy will snatch her away." The sun rises on a new day. We get a beautiful establishing shot of the bustling Yanggu County in the Great Song Dynasty. The waters of the canal are calm and sparkling, but our hero's life is about to get chaotic again. Wu Dalang is out and about, looking cheerful as he greets the day, but a system notification pops into his vision, reminding him of the ticking clock. Only 6 days are left to complete the Panjinlian main mission. The pressure is officially back on. But there's a problem. His treatment from last night seems to have backfired. He thinks, Jinlian has been ignoring me since last night, she must be angry, so I can't continue the main mission for now. With the main quest on hold, Dalang pivots to a side quest, making money. Winning over girls always requires a bit of money, he reasons, showing his experience. He even recognizes the web novel trope he's living in, figuring this is the point where he's supposed to start a business selling guicue flatbread. His meta-awareness is off the charts. However, there's a tiny flaw in his brilliant business plan. But I don't even know how to make guicue flatbread, he laments, and the system didn't give me a cooking manual. Lost in thought, he walks straight into someone. The impact is surprisingly soft, an extreme close-up on a pair of. The camera pans up to reveal the shocked face of a beautiful young woman with striking light purple hair and bright green eyes. This is Pang Chun-mei, and she looks just as surprised by the sudden collision as he is. Wu Dalang himself wears a slightly dazed, oops expression. He's gone from a fledgling business crisis to a classic romantic comedy meet-cute in less than 3 seconds. This guy's luck is something else. And there it is, as if dictated by the sacred laws of web novels, Pang Chun-mei lets out a startled "ah" as they tumble into a dramatic, star-filled void. It's fate, or just really bad coordination. As they tumble, Wu Dalang gets a perfect, his first thought, even while falling? So pretty, our hero, ever the connoisseur, is already appreciating the beauty of the situation. Upon landing, Pang Chun-mei scrambles to her feet, bowing apologetically. "My lord, please forgive me, my elder sister is sick, and I'm in a hurry to find a doctor," she explains, her voice filled with panic and urgency. So it wasn't just a clumsy encounter, it was a medical emergency. As she rushes away, Wu Dalang has a moment of sober reflection. He thinks about how the Great Song Dynasty is currently flourishing, with beautiful women everywhere. But his knowledge of the future casts a dark shadow on the scene. Sadly, in just a few years, the Jin army will invade the south. His thoughts darken further as he pictures the horrors to come. At that time, mountains and rivers will fall, people will be displaced, and the sons and daughters of the Han Dynasty will suffer. A grim image of a woman being taken away by soldiers flashes in his mind. For a moment, the dissolute joker is gone, replaced by a man burdened with historical knowledge. And just like that, the system chimes in, yanking him back to the present. New random mission, it announces. The woman's name is Pang Chun-mei, and the mission is to help her elder sister for a reward of 10 stat points. The penalty for failure? Your one equipment will shrink for 1 year. Dalang groans, again with the shrinkage penalty. The system really knows how to motivate a man. As if summoned by the mission itself, a sleek, futuristic-looking medical kit materializes out of thin air and falls from the sky, right into Wu Dalang's waiting hands. Talk about a timely delivery service. The system explains this divine intervention. It has detected that the mission is unusually difficult for a newbie like him. As a one-time exception, it's granting him this medical kit. It also reminds him that the primary way to get items later is to win over beautiful women to earn points. The system's priorities are crystal clear. Finding a quiet corner, Wu Dalang pops open his new toy. Inside, nestled in neat compartments, are modern medical supplies, including a surgical mask. He looks like a kid on Christmas morning. A closer look reveals the tools of the trade, a suture kit, a scalpel, scissors, and even a thoracic puncture needle. These simple items are practically divine artifacts in the Song Dynasty, capable of performing miracles. A sinister, confident grin spreads across Dalang's face. He realizes that with this kit, his modern knowledge, and by dumping all his stat points into intelligence, his medical skills could reach proficiency. Most surgeries shouldn't be a problem, he thinks. Dr. Dalang is about to make his debut. The scene shifts to the local clinic, where Pang Chunmei is frantically pleading with the doctor. My elder sister suddenly had severe abdominal pain this morning and couldn't walk, she cries. Her head feels burning hot. Please come take a look. Hiding just outside, Wu Dalang overhears the description and his medical training instantly kicks in. These symptoms sound like appendicitis. He thinks with a serious expression. If left untreated and it ruptures, she could die. But the doctor is having none of it. Out, out, no money, no treatment, he shouts, physically pushing the desperate Pang Chunmei away. She begs, offering to serve him as a master if he'll just save her sister, but he callously shoves her towards the door. The greedy physician, introduced as Dr. Jiang Zhushan, smirks at her. I understand, he says, oozing fake sympathy, but if your sister doesn't survive after receiving treatment, you'll still have to pay. He's a real piece of work. In his mind, Dr. Jiang scoffs at the idea of appendicitis, which he knows as intestinal abscess. He admits it's far beyond his ability to cure, but that doesn't matter. Still, I can't treat her for free. An info box confirms that this condition was almost always fatal back then. This doctor was going to charge her for a guaranteed failure. Just then, a new figure arrives. It's a mysterious lady in an elegant blue dress and a wide veiled hat that conceals her face. The people around her, however, are reacting poorly, complaining about a bad smell. So smelly, it stinks, they mutter, pointing to her apparent body odor. Dr. Zhang's greedy demeanor instantly transforms into one of a fawning sycophant. He rushes to greet the wealthy-looking madam with a disgusting, money-hungry smile. Madam, you've arrived, he exclaims, ready to offer his immediate attention to a paying customer. But the mysterious lady isn't there for herself. Ignoring the doctor's fawning, she looks to Pang Chunmei. Her eyes, visible through the veil, are sharp and perceptive. Dr. Jiang, I'll pay her consultation fee, she offers, showing unexpected kindness. Before the transaction can be completed, a hand darts out and grabs Pang Chunmei's wrist. It's Wu Dalang, and he's decided to take matters into his own hands. Quickly, take me to your sister, Wu Dalang demands, pulling her away. His inner monologue reveals his true motivation. Are you kidding me? If she dies, my little guy will shrink for an entire year. That's no different from being sentenced to death. For him, this is literally a matter of life, death, and dick. Pang Chunmei, understandably confused and annoyed, tries to pull away. Let go of me, she shouts. I need to find a doctor. She has no idea that the guy dragging her away is her last and only hope. With all the confidence of a seasoned professional, Wu Dalang puffs out his chest and declares, I am the doctor. Pang Chunmei is not impressed. Don't talk nonsense, she retorts. I know all the doctors here. Dr. Jiang is the best one. The classic you don't recognize the master trope begins. Realizing he needs to establish credibility, Dalang switches tactics. He looks her in the eye and says, trust me, your sister also feels nauseous and wants to vomit, right? Pang Chunmei is taken aback. I didn't say that, she thinks. How did he know? He presses his advantage, his expression turning deadly serious as he acts out a revelation. And your sister first felt abdominal pain, and only afterwards did she become nauseous and feel like vomiting, correct? This specific sequence of symptoms is a key diagnostic sign. The question hits her like a ton of bricks. Her confident defiance crumbles, replaced by stunned silence. She can only manage a single, breathless word, yes. Seeing her stunned silence, Wu Dalang presses his advantage. Then hurry and take me to her. Only I can save her, he declares with heroic fervor. If she dies under my treatment, you may report me to the county office, and I'll pay with my life. Now that's a guarantee you won't get from Dr. Jiang. Watching from the background, the mysterious veiled lady is taken aback. I can't believe there's a man who would risk his own life to save someone else, she thinks, her opinion of this seemingly random man changing by the second. Her fascination grows as she watches him. Could he be some kind of deity who saves people in need, she wonders. Wu Dalang's little performance has certainly won him a new, mysterious admirer. Pang Chunmei, her doubts finally washed away by his confident vow, looks up at him with newfound hope. Her expression has softened completely. Then, my lord, follow me, she says, finally ready to put her sister's life in his hands. They arrive at Chunmei's humble home. The scene is grim. Lying on a simple mat on the floor is her elder sister, unconscious and clearly in immense pain. She has similar features to Chunmei, but with long, blue lavender hair. Wasting no time, Dr. Dalang gets to work. He kneels down, placing his ear against the sister's abdomen in a makeshift stethoscope maneuver. The intestines sound normal. He determines, thank goodness, there's no rupture yet. Next, he uses his fingers to perform another diagnostic test, pressing on the specific area of her lower abdomen known as McBurney's point. This is a classic test for appendicitis. Even though she's unconscious, the patient groans in pain from the pressure, a clear sign of inflammation, but Dalang is relieved. Good, he thinks with a confident smirk. I didn't feel any lumps. The diagnosis is solidifying. Now for the tricky part. Next is a digital rectal examination to confirm whether the inflammation has spread to the peritoneum, he announces, pulling on a modern latex glove from his kit. The clash between modern medicine and ancient sensibilities is about to cause a big problem. As he instructs the patient to turn over, he gets a face full of her very ample assets. Even in this serious situation, a man of culture can't help but notice. Note, this is purely medical aid serving the plot. Nothing misleading here at all, promise. Pang Chunmei, seeing him trying to flip her sister over, completely loses it. Her face turns into a blank mask of pure rage. Why you? What the hell are you doing? She seethes. Wu Dalang tries to explain calmly. I need to put my finger into the rectum to check inside. He continues with his clinical reasoning about appendicitis and pelvic disorders. But his words are completely lost on her. All she heard was put my finger into the rectum. I don't understand a single word of this nonsense, she screams, grabbing a nearby wooden stick. A finger examination? You're clearly just taking advantage of her. I'll beat you to death, you shameless scoundrel. As she raises the stick to strike, Wu Dalang desperately tries to reason with her. Your sister is running out of time, you have to believe me. But Pang Chunmei is beyond reason, her eyes filled with tears of rage and betrayal. Oh, I believe you, she screams, that you'll burn in hell. Just as the situation is about to explode into violence, a weak voice cuts through the chaos. The sister, barely conscious, calls out, Chunmei. With what little strength she has left, she forces out the words, let him check. Her face is beaded with sweat, but her eyes show a desperate, trusting resolve. She knows this is her only chance. Her sister's words finally break through Chunmei's rage. The wooden stick clatters to the floor as the reality of the situation crashes down on her. Sister, I'm sorry, Chunmei sobs, rushing to her sister's side and hugging her tightly, consumed by guilt and fear. The sister comforts her, her voice weak but steady. Silly girl, since he has already seen my body, then, just let him treat me. It's a sad but pragmatic piece of ancient era logic, where a woman's modesty was paramount. This poignant moment triggers another internal monologue from Wu Dalang. He reflects on how women of this era are so pure and innocent, but also trapped by rigid ideology. This, he muses, is why Pan Jinlian in the original story became so submissive to Ximen Qing after he dominated her. It's a sobering thought that connects this side quest back to his main mission. But his philosophical musings are cut short. The sister's condition suddenly takes a turn for the worse. She chokes and coughs up a spray of blood. Chunmei is horrified, her eyes wide with terror as she covers her mouth. She's completely frozen in fear. Sister, what's wrong? Chunmei screams in terror as her sister suddenly goes limp, the medical crisis escalating into a life-or-death situation in a single, terrifying heartbeat. Her mind snapping from fear and grief, Chunmei's panic instantly curdles back into blind rage. Seeing her sister's state, she abandons all trust and snatches up the wooden stick once more. In her terrified eyes, Wu Dalang is no longer a doctor, but the scoundrel who caused this disaster. Threatened with a stick for the second time, Wu Dalang doesn't even flinch. He glares at the terrified Pang Chunmei and lays down the law. Save my sister. If anything happens to her, I swear I'll kill you, she screams. He coolly replies, if you want me to save her life, then step aside. Without waiting for her permission, he goes for it. Forgive my offense, he mutters. And with a gloved hand, he proceeds with the digital rectal exam. Her sister lets out a blood-curdling scream of pain. Dalang points out the location of the maneuver. This is apparently a very sensitive spot. and the sister's agonized scream confirms it. Ah, the patient shrieks, her body arching in pain from the examination. This is not going over well with her protective little sister. Pang Chunmei is speechless with shock and dawning horror. She can't believe what she just witnessed. Her shock quickly curdles back into pure rage. Her eyes narrow as she glares at Wu Dalang. What did you just do? She demands, her voice dangerously low. Dalang, sweating but focused, snaps back, be quiet, do you want her to die? He then provides a perfectly clinical, and therefore completely alien, explanation. Your sister's Bartholin gland near the rectum is very sensitive, that's all, to a girl from the Song dynasty. That just sounds like the most perverted gibberish ever spoken. And that's the last straw. Convinced he's just a shameless lecher, Chunmei raises her stick again, her eyes blank with rage, ready to bring the club down on his head for his transgressions. But Dalang completely ignores her, his diagnosis complete. Fortunately, I got here in time, he announces, pulling out his medical kit. The inflammation hasn't spread, prepare for surgery immediately, you'll assist me. He has gone from suspected pervert to head surgeon in 5 seconds. He hands her a surgical mask and a small black cylinder. In a moment, put on a mask like mine and hold the flashlight steady to help me see. He's giving orders now, and he expects them to be followed. He demonstrates the sorcery by turning on the flashlight. The sudden beam of light in the dark room causes a chibi Chunmei to lose her mind, her soul once again attempting to flee her body in sheer terror. Ah, what kind of sorcery is this? She shrieks, so startled that she drops the mysterious object, which clatters to the floor. Wu Dalang lets out a weary sigh. Communicating with people from ancient times is truly exhausting, he laments. You can't just hand a Song dynasty girl a mag light and expect things to go smoothly. Thinking swiftly, Dalang weaves a masterful lie. He grabs the flashlight and spins his tail with a perfectly straight face. This is an immortal artifact, the fireless divine lantern. All my medical skills were granted by an immortal in a dream. He pauses dramatically. You must stay perfectly still and silent. Just hold it steady for me. If there's the slightest error, your sister will suffer the backlash. Her soul scattering instantly. Heaven forbid. Terrified yet utterly convinced, Chunmei can only nod meekly. After allocating his attribute points, Dalang prepares for the main event. He puts on his surgical mask and cap. Looking like a proper surgeon, he thinks, psyching himself up, I put all 20 points into intelligence, so there should be no problem with this kind of surgery, right? The system confirms his upgrade. His intelligence is now at 30, and his medical skills have officially leveled up from skilled to mastery. A helpful chart even shows the path to future god to ranks like transcendent and saintly. Dr. Dalang is now officially overpowered. The patient lies peacefully, the off-screen anesthesia having taken effect. Dalang, now fully garbed, looks down at her. All right, appendectomy, begin, he declares. Note, this is purely medical aid serving the plot, nothing misleading here at all, promise. The gleaming tip of the modern scalpel as it's about to make the first incision, ready to rewrite this woman's fate. Pang Chunmei holds the fireless divine lantern with trembling hands. Her eyes are wide with terror, but she's holding it steady, her sister's life literally in her hands. As he begins, Dalang takes a moment to center himself. Stay calm, he thinks. This may be my first time taking the lead, and I've already boosted my intelligence stat. To hell with the mission and the reward right now. In this critical moment, his true self shines through. No matter what world I traverse into, he vows with fierce determination, I will never forget that I am a doctor. The lecher is gone, replaced by a dedicated medical professional ready to save a life. A short while later, success. The inflamed appendix is successfully removed and placed in a dish. Chunmei, still holding the light, stares at the disgusting organ with horrified. Chunmei squeezes her eyes shut, sweat beading on her forehead as she tries not to faint or throw up. With the most dangerous part over, Dalang looks up, his eyes sharp and focused. Good. Only one last step is left to finish the surgery, he announces, holding up his suturing tools. Let's begin the suturing. A few moments later, the final suture is in place. The wound is closed. The patient is stable. Dr. Dalang has just performed a medical miracle. Ding! The system agrees. A notification pops up. The host has successfully saved Chunmei's sister, reward, plus 10 stat points. His remaining total is now 13, mission complete, shrinkage penalty avoided, all's well that ends well, right? But the emotional roller coaster isn't over yet. The stress of the immortal healing method and watching her sister get cut open finally takes its toll on Pang Chunmei. Her eyes roll back and she collapses, dropping the divine lantern. Driven by a doctor's instinct, Dalang rushed forward without hesitation, pressing his ear firmly against her chest. In that fleeting instant, his eyes widened in sheer horror as he sensed her vital signs vanish entirely. A spark of doubt ignited in his heart. Sudden death? Outside Chunmei's home, the mysterious Wu Yuanyang can't help but wonder, after everything she's witnessed, if Wu Dalang is truly a deity. She quickly dismisses the thought. No, it wasn't divine power. The method he used was surgical. Something from the legendary Great Peace Sagely Benevolent book. Suddenly, Wu Dalang's head snaps up. That sound, could it be an acute pneumothorax, triggered by the woman's extreme nervousness just moments ago? His fears are confirmed as Chunmei collapses. There's no time to waste, she needs an immediate chest puncture right now. With a loud rip, Wu Dalang tears away the fabric of her dress to expose the area needed for the life-saving procedure. This is no time for modesty. He leans in close, desperately urging her, Chunmei, stay strong, don't you dare die on me. But his actions are gravely misunderstood. Wu Yuanyang grabs his arm, her voice dripping with contempt. Stop, I thought you were a decent person, but you're just a fraud taking advantage of an unconscious woman. She's not breathing, Wu Dalang retorts, his voice filled with urgency. If I don't treat her immediately, she will die. If you don't believe me, then watch closely. Wu Yuanyang leans down, her eyes widening in shock. He's telling the truth, Chunmei really isn't breathing. There's no time, Wu Dalang barks. Hurry over and hold her shoulders down for me. No longer a skeptic, she immediately complies. With Wu Yuanyang holding the patient steady, Wu Dalang prepares the life-saving tool, a chest puncture needle. With the steady hands of a modern surgeon, he aims for the precise location to release the trapped air. The needle finds its mark, piercing the skin in a flash of light. A miraculous gasp, Chunmei's breathing has returned, pulling her back from the brink of death. Wu Yuanyang is utterly stunned. She came back to life. Could this be the long-lost golden needle acupuncture point method? Wu Dalang turns to her with a smug little smile. So, do you still think I'm a fraud? Completely humbled, Wu Yuanyang bows deeply. This foolish woman failed to see your greatness and has offended the divine doctor. Please forgive my offense. And here comes the sweet, sweet sound of system notifications. Wu Yuanyang's affection is up by 10, then doubled for shock and guilt, for a total of 20 points, plus a stat point, cha-ching. Aha, the pieces fall into place. Wu Dalang's inner monologue reveals that this woman is none other than Wu Yuanyang, the neglected first wife of that bastard Ximen Qing, who suffers from a body odor problem. The cogs in our hero's brain are turning at lightning speed. Not only was she neglected, but she's still a virgin. He thinks, if I win her over, my money problems might just solve themselves. What a noble goal. Putting his plan into action, Wu Dalang helps the now respectful Madame Wu Yuanyang up, casually holding her hand while explaining the complex modern diagnosis of pneumothorax as if it were common knowledge. Wu Yuanyang is completely flustered. Her inner thoughts betray her shock. He held my hand. Even my own husband has never touched me so directly. It seems our hero has breached a significant barrier. Now utterly convinced, she looks at him with newfound reverence. I don't understand medical things, she says, but the divine doctor's superb skills truly earn my deepest respect. The title upgrade from charlatan to divine doctor was swift. Never one to let an opportunity slide, Wu Dalang smoothly deflects the praise and goes for the master stroke. You flatter me, he says, his fingers lightly on her wrist, but from your complexion, I can tell you're troubled by an internal illness. He leans in and whispers, the suffering caused by body odor, perhaps? Bullseye. Wu Yuanyang's eye widens in pure shock. He hadn't just saved a life in front of her, he had seen right through to her deepest, most hidden secret. The confirmation of her worst fear flashes across her face. Mortified, Wu Yuanyang stammers, so he really did smell it. Her worst fear is confirmed. She tries to pull her hand away in shame. her composure completely shattered. But Wu Dalang is having none of that. He quickly grabs her hand back. He coolly explains, this illness is caused by internal damp heat pushing turbidity outward. It is but a trifling matter. Using my triple-linked secret method, I can have you fully cured in 3 days. He makes it sound as easy as flipping a pancake. A glimmer of hope shines in Wu Yuanyang's tear-filled eyes. Really? She asks, her voice filled with disbelief and desperation. Clutching her fist to her chest, she makes a solemn vow, Divine Doctor. If you can really cure me in 3 days, then I, Yuanyang, am willing to give everything I have to repay your kindness. Wu Dalang begins his grand sales pitch, detailing Secret Method 1, a special internal drink made from various herbs. He even magically produces the ingredients out of thin air to illustrate. Next up is Secret Method 2, a refreshing body powder made from peppermint, talcum, and other exotic ingredients to be applied externally. He's got the problem covered from both inside and out. And for the grand finale, he presents the third part of his triple-linked method, the mysterious and powerful Supreme Golden Needle Method Blue Sea Rising Tide Needle. With a confident smile, he assures her it will undoubtedly cure her completely. Wu Yuanyang is completely mesmerized, throwing her head back in awe. Ah, what an amazing method, she exclaims. He has her hook, line, and sinker. The system goes wild. Wu Yuanyang's affection skyrockets by 30 points, hitting a new total of 50. This triggers a key mission, Turn the Key Beauty, which requires getting her affection to 100 and dual cultivating with her, the penalty for failure? Losing 60 centimeters of height, the stakes have never been higher or shorter. As a down payment on this miracle cure, Wu Yuanyang hands over a hefty sum of 100 taels. Wu Dalang accepts the cash with a simple, cool thank, all in a day's work. With the money secured, a cunning smile plays on Wu Dalang's lips. His master plan begins to form. I'll use his own tactics against him, walk the same path he walks, and leave Ximen Qing with no path left to take. A classic tale of poetic justice is brewing. Later, Wu Dalang is seen walking with his beautiful wife, Pan Jinlian. His mind is already on his next conquest, wondering why the affection point reward from his earlier good deed hasn't arrived yet. A man's work is never done. As they stroll through the streets, the crowd can't help but stare. Pan Jinlian's beauty earns praises, but they're followed by hushed, jealous whispers about the man next to her. The gossip gets harsher. What a fine flower stuck in a pile of cow dung, one woman sneers, calling him a dwarf. Wu Dalang overhears it all, and a thought flashes in his mind. Should I start putting my stat points into charm? Undeterred, Wu Dalang leads his wife towards an impressive-looking building, the Baozhu Pavilion, a high-end jewelry shop. My dear wife, let's go take a look, he says cheerfully, but Pan Jinlian hesitates, shyly pointing out that the jewelry inside is known to be very expensive. He scoffs at her concern. Jewelry for my beautiful wife should, of course, be the finest and most expensive. Pan Jinlian is visibly touched by his grand declaration. As soon as they step inside, a snooty shopkeeper sizes them up with a disdainful sneer. One glance and I can tell they're just a poor couple who came here to browse, she thinks, judging them instantly. Wu Dalang points to a delicate white jade bracelet, suggesting it would suit his wife well. Pan Jinlian, ever conscious of their finances, whispers that they should probably forget it. The shopkeeper's smug expression deepens. As expected, they're poor, she mutters, her contempt now plainly visible. That's the last straw. Fueled by the shopkeeper's condescension, Wu Dalang's expression hardens. With a newfound determination, he announces, Shopkeeper, I'll buy this bracelet. The shopkeeper's jaw drops, her smug facade crumbles, and her inner voice screams in disbelief. He's actually buying it? Her tune changes in a heartbeat. With a fawning smile, the shopkeeper announces the price, 2 taels of silver, and quickly packages the bracelet. Wu Dalang coolly settles the bill, having made his point without another word. Stepping back outside, Wu Dalang turns to his wife with a tender expression. My wife, you've suffered so much these past days, he says softly, holding up the beautiful jade bracelet, ready to place it on her wrist. He gently slides the bracelet onto her wrist and makes a solemn vow. Finally using his real name, I, Wu Zhi, swear that from now on I will give you a good life. And the system rewards him instantly. Pan Jinlian's affection gets a +10 boost. plus a plus 20 bitterness fades into sweetness critical hit. Her affection has now hit 60, and Wu Dalang pockets even more precious stat points. A new panel is unlocked. The system reveals Pan Jilian's detailed stats, including 2 game-changing abilities, an exclusive talent called First Beauty that boosts affection gain from other women, and a combination bond called Home Guard that requires high affection from 2 other key women to grant a massive loyalty bonus. Our hero's harem-building journey just got a roadmap. Just when things are getting good, a new challenger appears, a tall, arrogant-looking man named Huazishu, complete with a posse of thugs and a fancy fan, struts onto the scene. From Huazishu's perspective, his eyes are immediately drawn to Pan Jinlian. Since when does Yanggu County have a breathtaking beauty like her? He wonders, completely ignoring the man beside her. Without a shred of courtesy, Huazishu and his goons move to block the couple's path, making their intentions clear. He begins his slimy pitch, calling the new bracelet cheap and inviting Pan Jinlian back to his manor to pick out some real gold and jewels. The sheer audacity. Wu Dalang isn't having any of it. With an ice-cold glare, he utters a single, powerful command, "Get lost." Pan Jinlian clutches his arm, sensing trouble. Huazishu is practically steaming with rage. "Nobody dares refuse me," he boasts. "It's your blessing that I, Huazishu, have taken a liking to your wife." His goons chime in, telling her to consider it her fortune. What a bunch of clowns. According to Wu Zhi's memories of him, Huazishu, his uncle, was that eunuch Hua, and that same eunuch even married off his adopted daughter, Li Pinger, to him. However, Huazishu suspected that Li Pinger had been having an affair with the eunuch, so he spent his days drinking and visiting brothels, keeping his distance from her. After the eunuch's death, his vast fortune ultimately fell into Li Pinger's hands. Wu Dalang's mind races. He recognizes Li Pinger's name from the Home Guard bond. "She's one of my walking fortunes," he thinks with a devilish grin. "I didn't expect you'd dare covet my woman. Don't blame me for what's coming next." The thugs jeer, thinking Wu Dalang is frozen with fear. "Look, the brat's been scared stupid," they laugh. Little do they know, he's just calculating his next move. Pan Jinlian starts to panic, remembering her husband's historically timid nature. "Dalang, maybe we should just go," she begins, but he cuts her off with a calm, steady voice. "Worry not, Jinlian, I'm here." As if a god has descended, a golden aura surrounds Wu Dalang. In an instant, he dumps a whopping 30 stat points into strength. Reaching the mastery level, it's go time. His eyes burn with newfound power. "I told you to get lost, didn't you hear?" This time, his voice carries a weight that sends a shiver down everyone's spine. Enraged, Huazishu gives the order. "So you want trouble, huh? Beat him to death." His thugs rush forward, ready to brawl. The first goon lunges forward, throwing a clumsy punch directly at Wu Dalang's face. But Wu Dalang is too fast. He ducks under the punch and delivers a swift, brutal kick right between the goon's legs. The crack sound effect, complete with a broken egg, tells you everything you need to know about that goon's future. The unfortunate soul is captured in a moment of pure, electrifying agony. His eyes bloodshot and tears streaming down his face. He's not getting up anytime soon. The second thug, not learning from his companion's fate, charges forward with a furious roar. With impossible grace, Wu Dalang executes a perfect dodge, leaning back just enough for the punch to miss. He even has time for a smug little smile. Before the goon can recover, Wu Dalang pivots and sends a vicious roundhouse kick into his face, sending a tooth flying. All done, Wu Dalang stands coolly over his defeated opponents. In the background, Huazishu looks on, his arrogant smirk replaced by sheer shock. Pan Jinlian is completely starstruck. Her affection gets 2 critical hits, rocketing up to 80. Is this really the same timid Dalang? She wonders. He's a really good man, husband. I'm now clean. The timing is impeccable. The scene shifts. They are now back at home. Pan Jinlian leans in close, her eyes filled with desire, and breathlessly whispers the beginning of his name. Dalang, she finishes, her voice a sultry whisper. The invitation is as clear as day. Kneeling on the bed in a suggestive pose, she asks, "Could you massage me again?" The next scenes are for medical self-examination only and contain no inappropriate suggestions. Always the professional, Wu Dalang seizes the opportunity for that 100% affection goal. before the massage, I'd like to do a couple self-examination. Specifically, I need to examine your chest, Jinlian. All right. She agrees nervously, but Dalang, please be gentle, he reassures her, trust your husband's medical skills. The examination begins, with Wu Dalang providing a hilariously clinical play-by-play, good shape, inverted no, all normal, symmetrical, and the skin is normal. He continues his very thorough medical checkup, no discharge, good, then he moves on to press and squeeze, for science, obviously. Pan Jinlian is blushing furiously, her hand touching her cheek. Dalang, what kind of medical skill is this? She asks, clearly a bit flustered by his technique. After a moment of intense concentration, he finds some small symmetrical nodules on both sides. He's really committing to the bit. He delivers his diagnosis with a serious face. There's some lobular hyperplasia, but it's nothing serious, he says the scary-sounding medical term and then immediately downplays it, smooth. Pan Jinlian covers her mouth, her eyes wide with confusion. Dalang, what is lobular hyperplasia? She asks, completely baffled by the modern terminology. He gives a classic non-answer, you wouldn't understand even if I explain it to you now, I'll explain it to you slowly later. A perfect way to delay having to actually explain anything. In a moment of introspection, Wu Dalang reveals a surprisingly noble ambition. He wants to establish a medical academy to train more talents, especially female doctors, so women in this ancient era can receive proper treatment. His train of thought quickly returns to the task at hand. Although I don't have a speculum, I can still perform a gynecological examination with one finger. The sheer audacity of this man knows no bounds. Things are heating up. Dalang, good husband, I feel uncomfortable and itchy. Please treat me quickly, Pan Jinlian pleads, completely caught up in the moment. He holds her hand, his expression turning serious once more as he prepares for the next phase of the treatment. They fall onto the bed as he explains the final step. Your ailment requires this acupuncture rod. She calls him precocious as he moves in. The acupuncture rod is, of course, a giant metaphor. The scene comically cuts to their neighbor, Wangpa, pressed against the wall, blushing and surrounded by hearts. My goodness, that Wu Dalang next door is incredibly vigorous. He's been at it for 2 hours straight. Meanwhile, back in the bedroom, Pan Jinlian is utterly exhausted. Dalang, we see, can't continue anymore, she pants, completely overwhelmed. Dalang, I really can't take any more. Please let me get some rest, she begs. The system helpfully flashes a X count, 1 notification. Thanks for keeping score. But our hero is relentless. Just a little more, he whispers, his goal tantalizingly close. His inner monologue reveals, her affection is about to reach 100%. With a final, explosive declaration, the treatment reaches its climax. Completely spent, Pan Jinlian makes a startling suggestion. Dalang, please take a few more concubines. I really can't keep up with you. He has officially broken her. And there it is, a glorious golden notification fills the screen. Pan Jinlian's affection has reached 100%. He's rewarded with a mass of 30 stat points. Mission accomplished. The rewards keep rolling in. The mission is complete, granting Pan Jinlian a temporary Overlord Xiangyu physique, unlocking her first beauty talent, and confirming the requirements for the Home Guard combination bond. A look of triumphant realization dawns on Wu Dalang's face. Pan Jinlian is basically an affection cheat code, he declares. If I can also win over Chun Mei and Li Pinger, even treacherous villains could be turned into loyal subordinates. The path to world domination is paved with affection points. After a night of intense, dual cultivation, Pan Jinlian lies exhausted in Wu Zhi's arms. Meanwhile, a system notification pops up, shamelessly displaying Pan Jinlian's X count, 7. A normal scene of a couple soaking in a hot spring, fully clothed, common in other comics, vital areas are covered. And what does our dear host Wu Zhi get for his hard work? The system congratulates him with a brand new, awe-inspiring title, 7 times a night man. As if that wasn't enough, he's also gifted the Peng Zhu's chamber spear technique. The description is so over the top, it's clear Wu Zhi is now a certified bedroom god. Filled with newfound confidence and a legendary spear technique, Wu Zhi comforts his new woman. He looks at Pan Jinlian with a gentle smile, promising her that from now on, He'll make sure she lives a life of comfort and happiness. What a smooth operator. But of course, the tender moment is shattered by a frantic knocking on the door. Both Wu Zhi and Pan Jinlian are startled. Wu Zhi, ever the man of the house, wonders who could possibly be visiting so early and decides to check it out. Pan Jinlian, however, immediately panics. She suspects it's the vengeful Huazishu, whom Wu Zhi had previously dealt with. In a flash, she's up and ready to play defense, telling Wu Zhi to hide while she lies that he isn't home. Her eyes burn with a protective fire. After being saved by Wu Zhi, Pan Jinlian has found her ride-or-die spirit. She vows that she won't let anyone harm her Dalang, even if it means fighting to the death. Wu Zhi is touched, but there's no way he's letting his woman face danger alone. "I'll be right back," he says, his manliness stat clearly having received a major boost overnight. Watching his resolute back, Pan Jinlian can't help but blush. Her Dalang has truly changed. He's no longer the simple baker she was forced to marry. He's a man who stands tall and protects his own. Her affection points are clearly going through the roof. Wu Zhi gets dressed and swings the door open, ready to face an enemy. But instead of the angry Huazishu, he finds two stunningly beautiful sisters standing on his doorstep. The ever-helpful system immediately chimes in. It seems these are Chunlan and Chumei, the sisters Wu Zhi healed in the previous chapter. Not only have they been fully restored, but their affection for him has skyrocketed, netting him a cool 81 stat points. Wu Zhi's charm is apparently as potent as his medical skills. Chunlan bows shyly. She thanks him profusely for saving their lives, mentioning that a Lady Wu had already told them all about his heroic deeds. Wu Zhi is a bit confused, but hey, he's not one to turn down praise. Feeling pretty pleased with himself, Wu Zhi just laughs it off, saying it was nothing. But then, Chunlan's expression turns serious. The pleasantries are over. She points out that, while his intentions were pure, he did see them completely naked during the treatment. Now, the million-dollar question: how does he plan to take responsibility? Wu Zhi's brain short-circuits. Responsibility? Compensation? He immediately leaps to the wrong conclusion, thinking this is a classic honey trap scam. His modern sensibilities are screaming it's a shakedown, completely missing the ancient cultural context. Seeing his panicked face, the purple-haired sister, Chumei, tells her sibling not to scare him. But the feisty Chunlan isn't having it. "If you're too shy to say it, I will," she declares, ready to drop the bomb. And there it is. They don't want money. Chunlan gets right in his face and demands that he take responsibility. By marrying both of them, Wu Zhi's jaw practically hits the floor. This has escalated way beyond a simple compensation claim. Just as the chaos reaches a fever pitch, a soft footstep is heard. A new player has entered the game, and the timing couldn't be more dramatic. It's Pan Jinlian, now fully dressed in a stunning purple gown that accentuates all her assets. She has arrived just in time to hear the marriage proposal, and from the look on Wu Zhi's face, her appearance is both a blessing and a curse. Poor Wu Zhi is now caught in the middle of a three-way standoff. He's completely out of his depth, having never faced a situation with this many beautiful, demanding women at once. His internal monologue is just a series of panicked screams. But Pan Jinlian, the newly crowned main wife, is here to take control. She smoothly steps in, grabs Wu Zhi's arm, and dismisses the sister's request with a smile. She frames his life-saving act as one of pure virtue, far too noble to be repaid with something as worldly as marriage. With a cunning look in her eyes, she masterfully spins the narrative. Forcing a marriage would tarnish his good name and make it seem like they were extorting him. It's a verbal checkmate, delivered with the grace of a seasoned political player. The sisters are momentarily stunned by her flawless logic, their arguments deflating in the face of her confident defense. It's clear they underestimated the original wife. But they're not down for the count. Recovering quickly, the sisters their case again. Their reputations are ruined, they argue. No one else will marry them now. They physically corner Wu Zhi, making it clear they can't just be sent away to become nuns. The pressure is back on. Wu Zhi is having a complete mental breakdown. He vividly remembers Pan Jinlian literally telling him to get more concubines just the night before. Witnessing her complete 180-degree turn, he weeps at the cruel irony. Women's words, he wails internally, are truly the devil's lies. A swift, decisive stomp on his foot cuts off his whining. The message is clear, she's in charge of the negotiations, and he'd better keep his mouth shut before he makes things worse. Our hero is thus silenced, leaving the floor open for the women to continue their verbal battle. Pan Jinlian, regaining her composure, tries a different tactic, the appeal to tradition. She explains that marriage is a serious matter requiring parental approval, and she highly doubts their parents would allow them to marry in as mere concubines, a solid, logical blow. But Chunmei has a devastating counter. With tears in her eyes, she reveals that their parents passed away 2 years ago. The argument immediately shifts from a debate into a full-blown melodrama. She presses on, her voice cracking, explaining that the two of them are now utterly alone in the world with no one to rely on. The guilt trip is laid on thick. Wu Zhi, ever the softer, immediately feels a pang of guilt. He jumps in to apologize, telling the sisters that Pan Jinlian didn't mean it. He's falling for it hook, line, and sinker. Sensing a crack in the defense, Chunlan seizes the opportunity. She dramatically throws herself at Wu Zhi, crying that since he has taken their chastity by seeing them, they have no other way to live if he doesn't marry them. It's a masterclass in emotional blackmail. Pan Jinlian instantly realizes her mistake. By bringing up their parents, she inadvertently gave them the perfect sob story. She played herself. Trying to salvage the situation, she apologizes for her careless words. She then advises them to find a stable family and marry as legal wives, claiming it's for their own good, a noble sentiment, though it rings a little hollow now. But the sisters aren't interested in status, they want sincerity. Chunmei tearfully declares that Wu Zhi is a true gentleman for being willing to save them, and that's all that matters. They are willing to follow him, regardless of their position. Pan Jinlian switches gears again, this time appealing to social pressure. She argues that if they take in the sisters, outsiders will gossip that the Wu family bullied helpless orphans. She can't let the family bear such a shameful reputation. Chunlan finally loses her patience with the verbal gymnastics. She goes straight for the throat, accusing Pan Jinlian of not caring about reputation at all. Isn't she just afraid they'll take away her husband's love and her power as the main wife? The accusation hits its mark, leaving Pan Jinlian speechless. Checkmate. Having asserted her dominance, Pan Jinlian lays down the law. Fine, they can join the family, but it will be on her terms. As the lawfully married wife, she will establish the rules to prevent the household from descending into chaos. In a show of submission, the two sisters immediately drop to their knees, accepting her authority. They plead their case one last time, promising not to compete. They'll work, contribute to the household, and recognize Pan Jinlian as the matriarch. All they ask for is a place to stay. It's a humble, yet powerful, performance. However, Chunmei's inner monologue reveals their true strategy. They recognize that Pan Jinlian is far too domineering at the moment. For now, yielding is their only option. These sisters are not as simple as they appear. Pan Jinlian just scoffs at their display, but this act of coldness comes at a cost. A storm cloud appears over Wu Zhi as the system announces a critical failure. Pan Jinlian's affection has dropped by 10 points, deactivating her first beauty talent. No more bonus attribute points from her. Wu Zhi is horrified. In all his time with the system, he never imagined that affection points could actually go down. The game of love just got a whole lot more complicated, and he's starting to sweat. Even Pan Jinlian feels a twinge of regret, seeing the two pitiful sisters kneeling before her. She realizes she's being painted as the villain in this story. She sighs, her resolve softening. Finally, she relents, but with 2 strict conditions. First, they must help earn money, as her husband can't possibly support 2 more women. Second, she is to manage all household affairs, and they are not to overstep their bounds. Wu Zhi, ever the hero, quickly interjects that he'll handle the money earning. Meanwhile, Chunmei readily agrees to Pan Jinlian's terms. It seems a resolution is near. Chunmei solemnly vows that if they fail to contribute financially, they will leave on their own. It's a sincere promise. But it backfires. The system announces that both sisters' affection has just dropped by 10 points. Wu Zhi is sent into a panic spiral. His affection points are dropping from all sides. He's losing no matter what he does. He realizes he has to take control of this conversation before he ends up with 0 affection from everyone. He takes a deep, steadying breath. The time for letting others lead the conversation is over. It's time for the man of the house to step up. With a powerful voice, Wu Zhi cuts through the bickering. Enough, he declares, his presence filling the room. I'm the one who makes the decisions in this household. I am the patriarch of this family. His outburst stuns the room into silence. He glances nervously at Pan Jinlian, who looks genuinely hurt. Wu Zhi's heart drops, bracing himself for the dreaded system alert that her affection is about to plummet into negative digits. But the alert never comes. Instead, Pan Jinlian's expression melts into one of pure admiration. Looking at him with devoted, shining eyes, she declares that her husband is right, and she will listen to her man. Wu Zhi is baffled. It seems his display of patriarchal power didn't cause a disaster. It was exactly what she wanted to see. His power move works wonders. Pan Jinlian is completely smitten. Thinking how manly her husband is, the system dings with a +10 affection boost, reactivating her first beauty talent. The two sisters are also impressed, granting him +15 affection each. Wu Zhi just won the lottery. Wu Zhi can hardly believe it. A single outburst shot everyone's affection back up. He smugly concludes that girls in ancient times must have unique tastes. And hey, he came here for one wife and is leaving with 3. It's a buy one, get 2 free deal. With the crisis averted, Wu Zhi addresses the sisters more gently. He admits he acted rashly while saving them and gives them an out, asking if they're truly sure they want to marry him. After a moment of hesitation, Chunmei shyly confirms that she is willing. He ponders their hesitation. Perhaps Pan Jinlian's earlier hostility scared them. Or, he considers with a grimace, maybe it's because they realized he's both short and broke. A harsh reality check for our hero. But the system has other plans. A new main mission is triggered, Sisters' Confidence. Wu Zhi must help them start a business that earns 10 taels of silver daily within a week. The reward is stat points and a rare recipe. The penalty? All his stat points get wiped. At least it's not shrinking my sword this time, he thinks, relieved. Wu Zhi's mind races. The mission reward is a recipe, so the business must be food-related. But his culinary skills are limited to egg-fried rice, and selling flatbreads won't get them to 10 taels a day. He needs something revolutionary, a product born to dominate the market. Then, it hits him, a standardized recipe, perfect for chain stores, with endless creative possibilities and unbeatable visual appeal. It has to be milk tea. A flashback reveals the source of his genius idea. Back in his modern life, he was a loyal simp for a girl named Wu Yu, researching and perfecting all kinds of milk tea just to please her. Fired up with purpose, Wu Zhi turns to the sisters with a determined gleam in his eyes. He declares that he won't let them down, and will teach them a business that will have them earning 10 silver taels a day in less than a week. The 3 women can only stare back at him, their faces a perfect picture of bewilderment. His sudden explosion of entrepreneurial spirit has left them completely stunned. 10 taels of silver? The women are aghast. That's enough to buy 10,000 flatbreads, enough to feed them for a whole year. They think he's lost his mind. Wu Zhi simply gives them a confident smile. Just sit here and wait for me, he says, before zipping off with a wave. You'll believe me soon enough. What follows is a whirlwind of frantic shopping. Wu Zhi, a man on a mission, tears through the market, gathering all the necessary ingredients for his master plan. Back in the kitchen, he announces his first creation, Taro Boba Milk Green Tea No. 1. Since he couldn't find actual tapioca, he'll have to improvise, using sticky rice balls as a substitute for the boba. A montage shows our hero hard at work. He purifies the impure ancient brown sugar, boils the taro balls, brews the tea, and even crafts his own straws from reed stems while waiting. This is culinary innovation at its finest. He carefully brews the green tea, making sure not to oversteep it and make it bitter. The attention to detail is immaculate. Behold, the finished product, the very first Wu Zhi handmade taro boba milk tea. He even provides a helpful tip. The secret to the chewy texture is to immediately soak the cooked taro balls in cold water, pro-level stuff. He proudly presents the tray of bamboo cups to his 3 lovely taste testers. Each of you take a cup and try it, he instructs, holding out the revolutionary drinking implement, the reed straw. Hesitantly, the women take their first sips of the strange, milky concoction through the even stranger straws. Pan Jinlian is instantly transported to another dimension. She experiences a flavor tornado, a starlit galaxy in her throat. The experience is so transcendent that her body is wreathed in pink energy and glowing butterflies as she breathlessly demands more. The sisters are equally amazed. They marvel at the chewy little balls dancing on their tongues and the perfect blend of tea, creamy goat milk, and the intense burst of taro. Their minds are officially blown. Wu Zhi begins to explain his business strategy. The first 2 points are a unique product and a sophisticated taste, achieved through his unique recipe and refined brown sugar. The word for it? Delicious. The third and most crucial point is marketing. He will use the modern concepts of celebrity influence and scarcity marketing to make the tea a sensation. With these strategies, he declares, success will be firmly within their grasp. Pan Jinlian, bless her heart, is completely lost. Husband, what on earth are celebrity influence and scarcity marketing? She asks, her face a mask of pure confusion. The ancient mind cannot comprehend. Wu Zhi decides to maintain an air of mystery. Pulling all 3 of his women into a confident group hug, he tells them they'll understand his grand plan in 3 days, handing over the brown sugar refining method, shop blueprints, and a hefty 50 taels of silver as startup capital. The mission is set. Prepare everything for the grand opening. Pan Jinlian's cheeks flushed a deep crimson as she murmured softly, Dalang, you are so naughty, the junior sisters are still here. Wu Zhi is feeling himself. He kissed everyone present, declaring that if this business succeeds, their good days will finally begin. The man is fully embracing the life of a harem protagonist. As he skips away humming, the 2 sisters are left behind, blushing and flustered. Pan Jinlian watches him go, clutching the bag of startup money. She muses that her Dalang is becoming more and more improper. Then, a very practical problem occurs to her. There are now 4 of them, but still only 1 bed. Maybe they should buy another one first? Her practical thoughts are derailed when she feels the weight of the bag. 50 taels of silver? Where in the world did her husband get so much money? This is half of the money Wu Yuanyang gave him, a little detail he conveniently forgot to mention to his wife. The scene shifts to the imposing Ximen residence. Wu Zhi arrives, tool case in hand. He understands that to succeed in ancient times, a business needs powerful backers. Opening a single model shop is the first step to paving the way for a future chain. To execute his marketing plan, he needs his celebrity influencer, and he knows just the person, the most famous noblewoman in the county, the very same person who gave him the startup capital, Wu Yuanyang. With his target in mind, he steps up to the grand entrance and gives the lion-head knocker a firm rap. A maid, identified as Xiaoyu, answers the door. Wu Zhi smoothly introduces himself as Dr. Wu Zhi, here by the personal invitation of Madame Wu herself. The maid's eyes light up in recognition. She's heard the madam mention him before. Recognizing him as an esteemed guest, she turns to lead him inside. As they walk through a lush great garden, Wu Zhi's attention is captured by the sight of a beautiful young woman on a swing, her hair and dress flowing in the breeze. He's thunderstruck. The woman is the spitting image of his unrequited love from his past life, Xiaoyu, he blurts out, his past and present colliding in a moment of shock. The maid immediately scolds him for his outburst. Watch your mouth, that is our household's eldest young miss. Wu Zhi quickly realizes his mistake. It's Ximen Qing's daughter, Ximen Dajia. The resemblance to his old crush is uncanny. This chance encounter triggers a bombshell from the system. An epic encounter mission appears. Rewrite the original Ximen residence storyline. The goal is to raise the affection of a whole list of women connected to the Ximen household to 100. The system even adds a very spicy incentive mission as a bonus. The rewards are staggering, 100 stat points and the unlocking of the item shop. Wu Zhi's eyes burn with fiery determination. This is a quest he absolutely must complete, no matter the cost. Xiaoyu snaps him out of his reverie. Annoyed that he's spacing out, she mutters under her breath that men are all the same, freezing up the moment they see a pretty face. As he's led away, Wu Zhi casts one last look back at the beautiful girl on the swing, his new epic quest fresh in his mind. A close-up reveals Miss Ximen Dajia's delicate but melancholic beauty. She seems lost in her own world, unaware of the transmigrator who is now fated to change her destiny. The maid leads him to a private courtyard, explaining that the madam is inside, burning incense and praying. Wu Zhi astutely deduces that her husband's neglect has left her lonely and seeking solace in religion. Good, he thinks, This is my best opportunity. Xiao Yu announces his arrival at the door. From inside, a calm voice replies, "Understood, please let him come in." Wu Zhi steps into the dimly lit room. He sees the graceful back of a woman kneeling before an incense burner. She turns, and it's none other than the stunning Wu Yuanyang. "Divine Dr. Wu, you're here," she says, her voice smooth and inviting. She remains kneeling in an incredibly alluring pose, her sheer, dark robes and regal bearing creating an atmosphere thick with tension and anticipation. Our hero is about to perform another miracle. Wu Zhi readies his acupuncture needle, his expression perfectly professional. He looks at the beautiful madam and delivers the final line of the chapter, a command filled with medical authority and scandalous implications. "Madam, please remove your all clothes. I need to perform acupuncture."